All right. Hello, everyone. So glad you're able to join us. My name is Kyler Jasanis. I'm one of the assistant directors of admission here at Roger. Thank you for enjoying or coming to our session on the Gabelli School of Business, the professional development opportunities you'll have as a student here at Roger Williams. With us today is Brian Duff, who's one of our associate directors in the Center for Career and Professional Development. So he's going to give you an overview on the opportunities that you'll have here. Dee McTiernan will be with us shortly. She's having some technological issues, which I know we can all empathize with after the past year and a half that we've all been dealing with. So she'll be here very, very shortly. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat and I can ask them aloud as Brian's doing his presentation. You can also feel free to turn on your cameras and mics. Just so you know, we are recording this session, so you don't need to take too much detailed notes. We'll email it out to you and the other incoming Gabelli students within a few days after this. But with that, I'll turn it over to Brian and we'll get started.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for being with us. So as Kyler mentioned, my name's Brian Duff and I'm with the Center for Career and Professional Development here. And I'm super excited to be chatting with you today about career and professional development support during your first year in the Gabelli School of Business. And I'm just going to dive right in. And like Kyler mentioned, Dee McTiernan is going to join us as soon as she can, and she'll have some more to say to you shortly as well. So let's dive right into the content. So today, some of our topics and what we're going to be covering is just an overview of the center, how the CCPD, so that's the acronym for our office, supports you during your first year. And we're going to be getting into our mission, some common beliefs that you think about with career, as well as our services, platforms, and programs, and even some recommendations for you as you're transitioning from being a prospective student into that first year. So I always like to start with where we are, and you'll notice that my background is actually Global Heritage Hall. It's always good to know where we are as we transition on campus. And we have an online website, so ccpd.rwu.edu, where a lot of the information that I'm going to be sharing with you today, you can even find more information through our web presence. And we're also really active on social media. So Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, we constantly are posting about our events and programs, services, and updates. So it's always good to be connected with us on social. So let's dive into the good stuff. I always like to start with some common beliefs that we think about when we think about career. And a lot of times we tend to come into the Career Center or into our college journey with this concept that careers are linear. And really, we like to say that that's a bit of an old-fashioned concept. And so what we mean by linear is that maybe in the past you had a major and that major might have translated to that first job that you have out of college. And then fast forward maybe 45 years and now you're retiring from that same job and in that same career. Often when you look at the data, that's not really what we see now. And we see students and individuals that are transitioning into the workforce have multiple careers over the course of a lifetime. And people are transitioning fields and transitioning jobs more than ever. So what we like to say is that careers are an iterative process. So meaning it's not one job that you get that extends over the course of a lifetime, but a series of opportunities and decisions that you are going to make that are always going to lead to new opportunities. And so you'll see that graphic there on the right next to that word iterative. When you converge on a major or you converge on an internship or you converge on a job, the process doesn't end there because there's always a point of divergence where that might present new opportunities that you might pursue beyond that first job. So think of it like that. It's an iterative process. Another thing that we usually see is that this idea that careers are singular. So meaning there's that one job or that one path out there for you, and that's the one thing that you need to find. And again, if you start to think about the modern work world, things are a lot more complex than that, and especially this idea about career. So what we like to say is that careers are dynamic. One of the examples that I always use with students is the idea of a cell phone. So a cell phone maybe 15 to 20 years ago didn't exist nearly in the same way that it did today. But think about all the jobs that are attached to that industry and that product. You know, you're thinking about supply chain, manufacturing, app development, independent entrepreneurs that are profiting. So really, the work world is complex and is a moving target. And you as a person and as a student are complex and are a moving target as well. And every experience that you get through your education here at Roger, that's going to give you new skills, and you're going to change and grow as a person. So it's not like there's that one opportunity that you need to find, but really it's about exploring and prototyping and have a number of different experiences that are going to change you and that you're going to learn from. So we like to say that it's a dynamic process. And the last thing that we see is that this idea of the deadline. Like, you got to decide today, you know, what that career is going to be for the rest of your life. And I'm sure that resonates with a lot of people on this call. And if you take the two things that I mentioned to you before, the idea that it's iterative, that it's going to continue over the course of a lifetime, and that it's dynamic and complex, really we can break that down and say that it's more of a process. So it's more process oriented than one decision that you make. And so if you take this frame about how we commonly think about career and you bring that into what we do here as an office and how we support you, that's where you can get to our mission. And, you know, you can read our mission. This is our textbook mission, but I've underlined a few areas that I want to call out for you. We are a lifelong career education office. So here at Roger, you know, our motto is once a hawk, always a hawk. So all the assistance, resources, and connections that you find by being part of our community are things that extend over the course of a lifetime. And the work that we do through our events and programs and our services is really powered by our network of alumni, employers, parents, faculty, and staff that are all here to surround you and make sure you succeed. So if you think about what we do, I say it's all aspects of career education and preparation. And then when you say, well, what are those things? You know, what does it mean when you say career education and prep? And so the best way to talk about that is to refer to what we call our model. And the model is called the Roger Wave, and really it stands for 4 different domains. It's an acronym. And you'll notice the text above that says a career is more than that first job, but it's that lifelong adventure. And so we want to work with our students in these 4 areas, wondering about the self. So what does that refer to? That's thinking about your interests and thinking about what you value, what's important to you, and what you find meaningful. And then there's the flip side of that and connecting that to the world of work. So it's that occupational exploration that you are going to do by being a Roger Williams student. So that means, like, what does the job market look like? Where might I want to dip my toe in the water? Where might I want my first internship to be? And thinking about how those values, those interests might connect out into the work world. And then there's this idea of acting. So we support our students to not only take those interests and those ideas, but to put them into action and actually interact with the work world. And how do we do that? Well, it's by developing a professional brand. So when you talk about a brand, that's things like your resume, your cover letter, your online presence, and how do you talk to an employer. So everything that you see there, it's about a skills focused. And really our mission is to kind of propel you forward into the work world with everything that you need to be successful when you're in a networking situation or when you're talking to an employer or conducting a job seeking process. And that goes hand in hand with what we want you to do. You know, as a student, every Roger Williams student is going to venture out into that work world through study abroad, through research experiences, through community partnerships and projects that you're doing in your classes, and through internships. And through those experiences, that's like the opportunity for you to test out what you're learning in the classroom, but also enhance your skill set. And then we take that into the last domain, which is to engage. And all Roger Williams students are going to be connected to the community just by the nature of the education that we provide here. But we take it a step further, and we want you to be leaders in whatever community that you enter in. And so if you take these 4 domains and you kind of map them to our different services, the services that we offer are built off of that model. So things like helping you explore what occupations and jobs you might be interested in, or providing the resume and cover letter assistance, or conducting mock interviews, or providing the career advising, or support with the LinkedIn and your digital identity. The list can go on, but really this is what we're here to do, is to get you career ready and get you employable for life. And that's kind of our goal. So we're on your journey with you for life, and once a hawk, always a hawk is our motto. So what are some ways that we do that? So we talked about what our model is. We talked about who we are as an office. What are some ways that we try to connect with you when you transition here at Rogers? So we do that through appointments. So every Gabelli student is going to get assigned a career advisor the moment you step foot on campus. And that advisor is somebody that you can meet with as often as you want. You can meet with them every week if you want to, every month. And not only are you supported through the advising structure, but we also provide a series of events and programs that will support you in those different domains that I described to you earlier. Not only that, but we provide career fairs and hiring events every semester, which you're going to hear more about all of these different areas as I go through the talk today. We also have a peer assistant team. So we have trained peer advisors that work with you on a number of those different topics. We run a course that hits into those different domains, and we have a number of different online platforms and services that all intersect. And as a student here at Roger, you will have access and will be able to participate into all these different areas to get you ready for that next step. So one of the ones that I always start out with talking about is Handshake. And Handshake is really our career management platform. And as a student here, you will get access to your Handshake account the moment you walk on campus. And all those different areas that you saw me just mention, like the events and programs, the one-to-one advising, the hiring and job and internship support, it's actually accessible through that platform. And through your Handshake account, we have thousands of job and internship postings. So whenever we get an employer that contacts us, we direct them to Handshake to create that account and create that posting. So then they can advertise it to you and you can then apply and secure that opportunity. There's also a peer messaging component and ways that you can review internships and jobs after you have those experiences. So think of it like your one-stop hub for everything kind of related to our office that you might be able to connect with is through the Handshake system. And I just put a screenshot here on some of the different features that you see when you log into your account. One of the unique things about Handshake as well is that it actually recommends you things based on your activity. So you'll notice down there, you'll see some of these things that say new jobs recommended for you, recommended based on your activity. There's actually algorithms embedded in the platform, similar to something you'd see in Netflix, where when you put in your career interests, you'll actually automatically get alerts from the system for things that you might be interested in. And those can be broken down by industry or even job function. So you notice I put this example down here of jobs in real estate. And up here, I mentioned, this idea that we host events like on-campus interviews or career fairs, and all of those are searchable through that database, as well as your way to kind of make an appointment. So really important to get familiar with that tool, to know what that tool is about, and to get connected with that during your first year. In addition to that, I mentioned that our website houses a lot of what we do, and you can find more information about anything that I talk about on our web platform. Well, you'll notice here at the top that anything that you see that's advertised or posted in our Handshake platform actually gets pulled into our website. So we host different things like our upcoming events, and you can also easily access, how to make an appointment or how to get connected to the Handshake website directly through there. And some of the features that I also want to call out, it's much more than just a website. So what we've actually done is built into our web platform different career communities. Now, as a student, when you enter into your first year, remember I said that it's not a decision that you're going to make, one decision that you're going to make for your career, that it's a lifelong adventure, that it's a process. And so the career communities are really there as a tool for you to explore. And so, for example, I put a screenshot of the consulting, finance, accounting, and economics career community. In that career community, you will see examples of sample work settings and sample job functions. And we even bring in opportunities. So that's internships and jobs directly into our website, mapped out to those career communities as well as alumni that are working in those fields or in those industries. So if you're somebody that wants to explore, different career paths, we strongly always suggest to check out our career communities, which are hosting those alumni that have those featured opportunities. We even publish articles and resources along with those as well. So definitely something to check out, especially as a first-year student, when you might be thinking about, hey, what might I want to learn more about, or what types of internships and jobs might I be interested in? Career communities can be a great starting point. So I mentioned to you earlier that we host different events and programs. So our office, every semester, we provide a full suite of programs and events. So those include things like hiring events and fairs, panels that we host. We have a mock interview program that is a really interesting program where it connects you with an alumni for a mock interview. We host workshops and professional development series. So I just included a screenshot of some of the things that we hosted this past semester. If I included all of them, it probably wouldn't fit on the slide, but you'll see examples like we have a finance career panel, an accounting hiring event, a career fair, and even different modules that are structured around those different domains of the WAVE model that I described previously. So another thing that's strongly suggested is that as a student, you free access to all of these opportunities. And, you might be somebody that isn't sure exactly, what you might want to major in, or, what career path might be for you. Checking out a panel in an industry, or checking out one of our modules or hiring events is a great way to kind of get a jump start and see what might be out there. So employer engagement. So how do we engage employers here in the Center for Career and Professional Development? There's a number of different ways that we engage employers. Handshake is one of the primary ways. So remember I said to you previously that anytime we get an employer that contacts us that wants to advertise a job or internship, we direct them to Handshake, and they create that account and create that advertisement that's accessible to you as a student. But it also goes way beyond that. And so we actually have this platform called the Roger Connection, where alumni can post referrals to different opportunities within their company. So it's an alumni opportunities job board essentially, and it's exclusive to the Roger Williams community. In addition to that, you have the events and programs that I spoke of before. So the internship and career fairs that we offer, the campus recruitment opportunities. So often we have employers that will schedule an information session on campus, or that will do an on-campus interview with some of our students. And then the last being the networking events, panels and programs. And I strongly encourage, a lot of times, you might think of the internship and career fair. We strongly encourage you to go, but that's sort of a large scale event. Often we see great success within the smaller networking events and panels as well, as a unique opportunity to connect with some of our program alumni or some of our employers that are coming to campus. And so I just included a screenshot below of just some of the employers that we've engaged previously in these different areas. But strongly encourage you to think about, like I said, the smaller events, as well as some of the larger ones when you enter and come on campus. Some first destination highlights. So something that's that parents and families and students alike, always wonder about. So the Gabelli School of Business, the placement rates and the first destination data over the past 3 years has always been over 90% and in the high 90s. And our graduates are employed at a variety of different companies. The statistic actually is over 321, over the past 3 years. And you can see some of the sample employers below where our students have ended up. And you can see some similarities between those and some of the ones that we've actually brought to campus, for on-campus recruiting opportunities. So I mentioned this tool before, this idea of the Alumni Opportunities Board before. Well, the Roger Connection is so much more than just a referral board for alumni. This is actually a platform where we have over 800 alumni that sign up to be mentors, to talk about their jobs, to give advice. And it's something that I always encourage first-year students to check out. So if you'll see this screenshot here, every alumni will have a profile. And within that profile, you can click on that and you can actually see how that person is willing to help. And many of them will talk about their major and how that might have been related to their career. Or you can see somebody's career path from when they started, as a first year finance student, some of the internships that they've had and how that's led into to the career or where they are today. So it's something that can be really good just for an exploratory purpose of checking out where alumni have started, where they have ended up. And then if you want to take it to the next step, even having that conversation and asking them about their job through an informational interview or even through a chat. There's a chat feature through that tool. And so, we support you through that process, and some of the ways that we do that. So those tools, the Roger Connection, Handshake, our events, are actually integrated into a course that we offer, which is called the Internship and Career Planning Seminar. And you'll notice this list down here, developing your brand, exploring your interests, networking with alumni. So all of those different areas, we support you in a course format through the Internship and Career Planning Seminar, as well as through appointments. So not only can you attend the class and kind of go through that process, you can also do that through individual advising or something that you might check out on your own as well. So there are kind of 3 different ways that we can kind of support you through that. And then, so I've been kind of peppering some recommendations for your first year throughout the talk today. What are some things that you should think about as a first year student? Strongly encourage you to meet with a career advisor early and often. So as I mentioned, you could meet with them, twice a week, once a week if you need to, but getting connected the moment that you get on campus, you are going to get an introduction to your advisor during orientation. And we want that relationship to carry throughout your 4 years. So starting that relationship the moment you step foot on campus is something that we strongly recommend. In addition to that, I shared a lot of different events and programs and things that we offer throughout the course of a semester. We strongly encourage you to attend. You don't have to attend every single event, but maybe pick some that might be interesting to you, whether that be an alumni panel, a networking event, or even a resume day to develop a collegiate resume. Attending an event is a great way to not only get connected to our office, get connected to your peers, but even begin to speak with some alumni or employers. So develop your professional documents. I can't stress this one enough. When I say professional document, one of the primary things I'm talking about is a resume, and getting a collegiate resume started during your first semester, during your first year is really going to set you up for success, because that document is something that's going to be dynamic and that's going to change and evolve over time. So as a student, as you get new experiences, as you take new classes or do new projects, that's something that you're going to update and that's going to stay with you even throughout your whole life. So getting that collegiate document started right when you step foot on campus is something that we really recommend as well. Last but not least, joining a student club or organization. This isn't something that's necessarily managed by our office directly, but it's something that can be so important to do, because you are going to get connected to not only your peers, but you'll even get opportunities to develop yourself professionally. So many of our clubs, we'll be talking about, industry topics, or you'll bring in alumni, or we will be entering into that club and doing presentations and professional development. So it's really an opportunity to not only get connected here on campus, but also to think about things that you might add to a resume or be able to talk about to an employer someday. And then, this goes without saying, we have, I shared with you a number of different platforms and programs, and some of those, they're so easy to access and that you can sign up for automatic alerts. There's even a subscription feature in our website where you can subscribe to different career communities and get automatic updates if we're posting new jobs or new alumni are being featured in those communities. So just by signing up, you can get information and alerts, and it doesn't even require you to come into our office. So we really try to provide those platforms and services 24/7. So if you think about these 5 areas, It's really a way to get yourself set up for success. Attend the events, meet with advisors early, get started on your professional documents, think about ways to get connected on campus, and then remember, sign up for those alerts and platforms because we're always adding new content and always updating things. And I think Dean McTiernan has arrived, and I can actually turn it over to you, Dean McTiernan, and maybe you can kind of add some and close us out.
Hi, Brian. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Great.
Yep.
Well, it's wonderful to be with you this afternoon. I had a little technical difficulty, but it's good to join you now. And I wanted to welcome everyone who was able to attend the session this afternoon. As many of you have heard from me prior to this, we are very interested and very concerned and very committed to our students being able to achieve not only in the classroom, but as they leave GSB and go on to their next opportunities. And I'm sure Brian has given you some good information. I think my connection may be a little bit unstable, so I don't want to stay with you for too long and detract from what I know has been a great session already. So thank you, Brian, and thank you, Kyler Jasanis, for setting this up from the Enrollment Management Office. It's great to have all of you with us this afternoon, and I look forward to seeing all of you very soon and invite any questions that you may have for me. I'm very easy to find on the web, and I will look forward to hearing from you over the summer and look forward to seeing all of you in August. Thanks so much. Good to be with you, albeit very briefly this afternoon.
All right. Well, thanks so much, Dean McTiernan. We can turn it open forum for questions. If you have questions, feel free to put them in the chat or turn camera on or mic, whatever you prefer.
Whatever your preference is. While we're potentially waiting for any questions, maybe Brian, I don't know if you can put your contact information in the chat or just the CCPD's page again for like the social media handles and stuff like that, just so they can see that.
Of course. Yeah.
As a reminder, we'll share this recording with you all, so you'll have access to this so you can revisit what Brian shared. So someone in the chat asked, when can students expect to see available job positions on campus? I'm not sure if you're talking about that through a career lens or you're talking about like work study and payroll jobs. So I'll answer the work study payroll piece. And then Brian, if you want to talk about like the HawkLink stuff and the community connections there for when you can see that as incoming students. So if you're asking about like work study jobs on campus, those typically go available on our website in early August. Most students typically wait until move-in to start applying for positions, but they will be on our website probably early August. We're just waiting to hear what offices have positions open and stuff like that. But there's plenty of opportunities. I personally haven't heard of a student who had work study and was able to find something on campus, so don't feel anxious. You'll definitely be able to get a job through that portion. But Brian, if you want to talk about in terms of what they can see as incoming students on the portal that you all have there.
Yeah, if you mean generally just, when are positions posted? Companies are posting positions all the time. I mean, depending on the nature of the organization and company, recruiting timelines can vary. Like if you're a very large corporation or you're like the big four accounting firms, often those deadlines can be more competitive. So there are certain times when those positions are posted. I would say the best thing to do would be if you get connected with an advisor early and we learn more about your interests and what your goals are, we can point you in the right direction for those timelines.
Similar to note that, can you mention when career fairs typically are in semesters? They can keep an eye out for those.
Yeah, so this fair we're planning for late September, early October. The hiring events and fairs that are coming this upcoming semester. In spring, they usually happen mid-semester, so March is usually our timeline for that.
Awesome. any other questions that you all have, again, you can ask in the chat or unmute, whatever your preference is. All right, so not seeing anything, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. So we'll follow up with an email in the coming days with Brian's contact information and copy this recording, Dean McTiernan's, as well as links to the websites and stuff like that. If you have any personal questions, definitely feel free to stay in and wait till the end. We can do private breakout rooms if that's what you'd like. But otherwise, Brian, any last words you'd like to share with the group?
Well, I'd like to say that we are so excited to have you here. And like I mentioned to you earlier, we're on your journey with you for life. And I can, strongly say that, here in our office, you have support through the faculty and staff. And we're just really excited to have you join us in the fall. So have a great rest of your day.
Bye, everyone. Thanks for coming. All right, I will stop the recording.
We have a couple.
Ryan?
Sir.